and this is my lesson plan for technology in grade 9. So my lesson plan will be about structures. I'll be teaching, my school has a combined school, which is the semi-private, and the date is 29th of August for grade 9 technology. And my content area is attributes of structures. But my main topic will be structures. The lesson will take about 45 minutes, and I have 33 learners in class. So first of all, before I teach the new thing, I must remind them of what we did the previous, which is called prior learning. Here I'll ask them to give me 2 examples of each of these forces, and my lesson objective, what I aim to achieve for this lesson is so learners, at least I'll have to, so learners will be able to identify structures and tell me the material used to make the structures. For an example, a telephone tower was constructed using the steel. So the skills, I want them to have at least 2 skills. I want them to be able to analyze structures and recognize the materials used to build them. So what are the values of attitude? At least I'll have 1. So they have to be able to choose the correct material for the particular structure so that it's durable. And the assessment, I'm thinking of giving them the mini pads, of which I'll give them a problem which is on page 38 in the books, which is on page 38, because I'll be using this technology book, Solutions for All, and I'll give them about 2 weeks to complete it. So my resources will be this book, teaching Solutions for All, and a CAPS document, and a projector that I'm using to project this lesson. The projector I'll use it to show them pictures. And then, so now I'll come to the lesson. So during the lesson, obviously I'll have to introduce my lesson. This will take about 15 minutes because I cannot talk for long. So first of all, I'll say something interesting to them, like if you want to be a builder, engineer, or surveyors, at the end of the lesson, you must tell me I want them to tell me if they're interested in any of the jobs that I'll mention. But first of all, I'll ask them if they've seen structures around. But for there, I'll simply use a projector and show them chairs, like boards, like this board, and show them, and so that they can remember if they've seen it somewhere. So as the lesson develops, the construction I'll tell them the construction industry is facing a big problem when it comes to building proper and solid structures. So this is when they must, so I'm going to list the 2 types of structures, which are shell frame and mesh structure. As I mentioned before, because I also mentioned the carriers beginning of the lesson, I want them to have a clear understanding so that they can decide on the suitable material to be used for this structure. And it's very important, to choose the correct material so that the structure is solid and durable. So at the end of the day, at the end of the lesson, our consolidation, it says it is vital for every school to have at least 1 or 2 construction materials, just for learners to have an example, just to say an example. So here where I am, we do have a steel structure which is used for metric areas. So obviously when I'm planning the questions, I have to plan them according to Bloom's. So here Bloom says recommended that learners will have to remember first, they understand, they apply, they analyze, evaluate, and create. So my questions are exactly like that. The first one will be, they will have to list 1 structure they've seen before anywhere. It can be inside road or next to a house, but I will use a projector to give them a hint. I'll show them pictures. And then after that, they will have to, after they mention the structure, they write the material that were used to construct that structure. And then number 3, they have to, these are the questions that I'll be asking them. They have to mention 2 things that they can use to construct using the same material that they've mentioned above. So they have to differentiate the durability and the purpose of the one that you see and the new one that they created. So, and then they have to give me the values of those structures. So after that, after exploring this type of structures, and what can they conclude about the construction industry? Are they interested in the construction industry, or they think there's something more that needs to be done? And then as for homework, it's on page 16, same book. And then they have to, there's a activity which says check yourself. That's where they see if they understood what was taught. And then there will be 3 questions, only since, because I'll only give them just a mini one or few questions so that they can be able to work on their mini pads. And then here, and as a teacher, you must be able to accommodate learners or those who need special attention. So in this case, all learners, all notes and work done will be posted on Google Classroom, because we use Google Classroom, so that those who couldn't come to school or who were stopped by any circumstances can also be included in the lesson. And then my references will be the CAPS document, the grade 9, and the teacher's guides. This is the website for the book, and it's in English. So for self-reflection, is learners are actively involved in class. So learners, I'll make sure that the learners are actively involved in class. I'll make sure that they show interest by just picking anyone to answer the question. I won't allow them to put up their hands. And this is the book that I'm using, and this is that's the page from the CAPS document. So I'll be doing exactly what is required by the CAPS. Thank you.